On the morning she was supposed to be introduced as a bride, the old man stood up and said, "Stop this marriage. This girl is my daughter." The room went silent. Everyone turned to stare at the young woman standing in the corner, dressed in red cloth, her hands shaking. She did not understand how the man who was meant to be her father-in-law had just destroyed her life with one sentence. Her name was Aderonke. Aderonke was 26 years old and due for marriage. In her town, people whispered whenever a woman stayed unmarried for too long. Some said she was proud. Others said she was cursed. But Aderonke was none of those things. She was kind, she was calm, and many men wanted her. The problem always started the same way. A young man would fall in love with her. His family would agree. A date would be set. Then the man's father would come to meet Aderonke's mother, and everything would change. The first time it happened, Aderonke was 19. The man's father walked into their living room, took one long look at her mother, and froze. His face went pale. He asked for water but did not drink it. After a few minutes, he stood up and said his son would not marry Aderonke. Outside, he told his son, "That woman was someone I was once with. That girl is trouble." No explanation, no apology. The engagement ended that same day. The second suitor came 2 years later. The same thing happened. His father recognized Aderonke's mother and became angry. He shouted that the marriage must never happen. He warned his son to forget Aderonke or be disowned. By the third time, people began to talk. They said Aderonke's mother was a bad woman in her youth. They said her past was chasing her daughter. Some women warned their sons to stay away from Aderonke no matter how good she was. Aderonke cried many nights. She once asked her mother quietly, "Mama, what did you do in the past?" Her mother sighed, but said nothing. She only said, "Life is not always fair." Years passed. Then one day, a man named Banko came from a faraway city. His family had never lived in the town. His father was not from there either. When Bankole asked for Aderonke's hand in marriage, people were happy for her. "This one is different," they said. "This one has no history here." Everything went well at first. Banko was gentle. He respected her. Their families agreed. A date was fixed for the introduction. Aderonke finally smiled again. On the day Banko's family arrived, her mother dressed well, but looked uneasy. Banko's father sat quietly, watching her mother's face. Then suddenly he stood up. His voice shook as he said, "This woman, I know her." The room froze. He went on, "Many years ago we had something." "That girl?" He pointed at Aderonke. "She is my daughter." People screamed. Banko dropped his cup. Aderonke felt the ground leave her feet. How could this be? Was she now cursed forever? Was she not allowed to marry anyone on this earth? The elders stopped the marriage at once. Banko and Aderonke were told. They were siblings. For days, the house was filled with confusion and pain. Then an old uncle spoke up. He asked Banko's father many questions about dates, about places, about names. Slowly, the truth came out. Years ago, before he met Aderonke's mother, he had a wife and they couldn't bear children. So they adopted a boy child and named him Bankole. And even after his wife passed, he raised him as his own and never told anyone the truth. He later found out Aderonke's mother was pregnant with her, only when they had already moved to another city. He was Aderonke's real father, but Bankole was not his biological son. He only kept silent because he raised him and wanted to keep the promise he made with his late wife, to never let Banko find out they were not his biological parents. But because he saw the way Aderonke and Bankole truly felt for each other, he had to break the silence. The alias confirmed everything. There was no blood relation between Bankole and Aderonke. They were not siblings. The marriage was allowed. This time, no one stood up to stop it. Aderonke married Bankole quietly. No long celebration, no loud joy, just relief. She did not marry early. She did not marry easily. But in the end, she married right. And people learned that the past can cause pain, but truth, when found, can also set people free. This story almost ended in heartbreak. If you were Aderonke, would you have walked away or waited for the truth? Tell me in the comments. Do you believe the past should affect who we marry? Some stories don't end easily, but they end right. Aderonke waited, suffered, and almost lost everything before the truth came out. If this story touched you, share it with someone who believes love deserves a chance. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe.